Hello, I'm Javier Fernandez. I'm the director of video here at Weekend Digital, a creative marketing agency located in Sacramento. Today, I'm going to show you how we made this Oculus Quest 2 ad. So before we start working on any video, we first need to understand the brand. Typically this involves a discovery call with the brand and reviewing the previous assets. Now in Oculus's case, they have a lot of great content, so it was really easy to see the angle they were going for. After reviewing their assets, it was time to start with the concept. We decided to use a lot of recurring elements from the previous ads and use them here. We start off with the ordinary world, we get introduced to the VR world, then we get transported into it. We step back for a moment, only for us to go back in full force. Now that we have our concept, it's time to get started with getting assets. I typically start with finding the right track. With the concept in mind, it's really easy to narrow down the selection of tracks we're looking for. For music, we're going to use artlist.io. We've been using Artlist since 2017, and let me tell you, if you're not using Artlist, you're missing out. They have a lot of great tracks, and odds are you're going to be able to find the track that suits your project perfectly. Now, just to be clear, this isn't an ad. We're not getting paid or associated with Artlist. We're just huge fans of their services, and we use them for about 90% of our projects. So after finding the right track, I begin storyboarding. Now we have about 5 people in the video team, and each of them handle the pre-production phase a little differently. Some script and shot list, others use storyboards, and some use reference frames. For this project, I got one of the video team members, Camille, and we made a quick shot list in our studio using our Blackmagic Pocket. The reason I do this is because this helps me see if the edit flows the way I envision. Also on set, I can see what shots I actually need so I don't waste my time setting up shots that I ultimately won't use. And with the VFX shots in mind, I wanted to test out to make sure that everything would work, and if there were any problems, I would deal with them now and not on set. After getting our test video / storyboard video done, it's time to shoot. Production only took us one day. We started off in our studio to film the White Room scene. We got the idea of filming in the room based on the Quest 2's launch trailer. We used 2 Aperture 300Ds with the space light modifiers for lighting. For camera, we used the Blackmagic Yosemite Pro G2, and lenses we used the Sigma 18-35 and the 50-100mm art lenses. The first thing we filmed was our VFX shot with the model suspended in air. I'll go over what we need to do in order to get this effect pulled off later on in the video. But after that, we got the free-falling close-up shots. What we did to get this effect pulled off is we had our model sitting on a stool. We had a fan hitting her hair to really sell the idea that she was falling. The last thing we filmed in our studio was the model falling into this world. We had a crash pad provided by our graphic designer Jose on set to prevent any injuries. This would also allow our model to really commit to falling. From there, we went to our next location, our living room scene. For this scene, we used our Aperture 120D Mark IIs and some digital juice lighting gels. The lighting we did for this scene was inspired by another really great content creator named Brady Bassett. Brady has a ton of great lighting tutorials and definitely deserves a follow if you're not already following him. I'll drop a link in the description to his video. He goes over in great detail all the steps you need in order to get some really cinematic lighting. But from here, it was pretty straightforward in terms of shooting. Our model went through the motion we discussed, and she absolutely killed it. I mean, I really felt like she was playing VR. Now that we're done filming, it's time for post. Now, because I already filmed the test video with Camille, I was able to edit this video rather quickly, and I knew I would spend the majority of my post work on VFX shots and sound design. So let's go ahead and start with the first VFX shot. So this shot was really easy to pull off. We started off by getting a Galaxy video file from Storyblocks, and then getting a projector and projecting that image on our model's face. We then got a shot of our model putting on the headset, zoomed into it while also matching the zoom with our projector shot. All we had to do was mess with the opacity, and boom, that's our shot. The second shot was pretty easy too, but there were a lot of little things that ended up taking a lot of time. I won't bore you with the details, but I'll go over what you need to do so that way you can recreate this effect too. Let me also say that I learned this effect back in high school from a channel called VFX Bro. This video is over 10 years old, but it's still effective. I'll leave a link to his video in the description. So in order to get this effect pulled off, we first started off by getting a clean plate, then one with our model. Now in After Effects, we mask out the stools, then, using the mask and puppet tool, animated her limbs. The last thing we did was move her body, then added some motion blur. Then voila, we have our effect. For this project, we didn't record any sound on the day of production, so we had to remake all the sounds in studio, and for the ones we couldn't recreate, we had to use sound libraries. For example, in this white room scene, I really wanted to sell the atmosphere, so we used the sound effect libraries from Lens Distortions to really give it that airy feeling. I'll go over a few elements now. We're using this Outer Limits sound effects from their Anticipation library as the base. Then, we're using their Neutral Whoosh sound effect from their Archetype library to help us transition into the VR world. Finally, we use the Exhale sound effects from their Statement library to accent the moments. Here's something that everyone in the film industry knows. On a technical level, sound is the most important thing. It's what can really set a video apart from being good to great, and oftentimes great sound goes unnoticed. Here's a quick example of the video with and without sound effects. We're immediately more immersed with the ones with the sound effects added. Now that the edit is officially picture locked, we can begin the coloring phase. I hand the video off to our colorist Rubio and he begins working on it. I personally can't go into much detail for this section, but if you want an in-depth video on coloring with our colorist Rubio, let us know in the comments. So now that the video is officially done, we export it, then we hand it off. From there, we begin work on our next project. So I hope that you were able to get something out of this video, and if you're interested in seeing more of these videos, let us know in the comments. Have a good one.